But I'm going to ask all the candidates to be as brief and concise as possible as we go forward. And we're going to swing from left to right in answering these questions. And we're going to start with Mr. Rendon. All of you have your programs in front of you. The questions are straightforward, so hopefully the answers will be as well. Mr. Rendon, you'll start us off, and then we'll go down the road. Will you work to legalize medical marijuana dispensaries in Chula Vista?
I support the right of an individual to have access to medical marijuana, and I will continue to monitor the legal status of medical marijuana at the national, state, and local level. And until this issue is decided at the federal level, I do not favor medical marijuana dispensaries in Chula Vista. The federal stance on this issue keeps shifting. And in the last 10 seconds of my comment, in rebuttal to the previous comment, it's not the coalitions at MTS are changing, it's when you bring in negative confrontation and not build partnership that destroys the relationships to get things done.
Ms. Salas?
No.
I like that answer. Not that I like the answer, but I like that it was fast. Don't judge me. Ms. Aguilar?
I will not work to legalize dispensaries, but I will work, and I think we should find a way to legalize cooperatives. Medical marijuana cooperatives are legal under state law. They have been for a long, long time, and we need to find a way to make those cooperatives available to patients who need medical marijuana.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Short answer, no, it's not the priority.
Jim?
We have to be consistent with state law and make cooperatives available for people who have a legal and necessary medical need.
Will you work to move city council meetings the starting time back to 6 p.m.?
Oh, I'm a veteran of those midnight meetings, especially when Jerry and I served together.
Would that be a yes?
That would be
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Short answer, yes. I work too. I think most of us work, and we'd like to attend the meetings. It's hard to.
Ms. Aguilar?
Yes. When the change was made by the city council to go from 6 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I voted against it, and I spoke vociferously against it. It's not a good thing. We need to be meeting in the evenings when people can attend.
Ms. Salas?
Since they changed it to 2 o'clock, we have virtually no community members that attend our city council meetings, and that is not healthy. So, and in addition to that, if my first term in 96 to 2004, I was working full time at the time. I wouldn't have been able to be elected to the city council at that time. So we're excluding a lot of people that could be very valuable members of the council from running because we have them during work hours. So yes, I will work to, I do want to change it when I'm mayor, and I will.
Mr. Rendon?
Thank you. You're probably looking for a yes or no answer, but let me provide an alternative. The reason city council meetings were rescheduled from 6 p.m. to 2 p.m. was to save tax dollars and not paying overtime for staff. And so there is a balance here. All council meetings can be viewed online, yet I adamantly indicate that when residents want to see certain items that they be scheduled at time specific. The critical issue is to assign time-specific meetings to afford more convenient public access. What you can do is have one meeting a month in the evening and the remaining meetings in the afternoon, so you save tax dollars and you provide access. And if there's a controversial issue that requires additional community input, because I support that so the community has access, then you schedule that at time specific in the evening. And so you accommodate both sides, saving tax dollars and community access.
I'm sorry, this is...
Okay, hold on. I have to respond because he said something that simply is misinformation. I spoke with our finance director and I spoke with our city manager, the current one now, and Jim Sandoval in the past. He said, and here's what they said. No, moving it to 6 does not save tax dollars because the staff members that are involved in city council meeting are usually the management and professionals that are salaried and not hourly, so that is wrong.
Mr. Rendon, we're going to start with you with C. Do you support a term limit of 12 years total for city council and mayor combined?
I view elections as, all elections as term limits, and the critical issue is to have council members to fully serve out their terms when they are elected, not to leave early. Voters have the option of removing politicians from office every election cycle, and this has been done in Chula Vista. Candidates with experience will be restricted from serving the city. You know, you need to let the voters make that decision so that the best candidate with experience has an opportunity to serve if the voters so choose to do so. This is a voter's decision.
Ms. Salas?
No.
Ms. Aguilar?
Yes.
Smith?
Will support it, yes.
Padilla?
No, I mean, obviously it would mean you could not elect a city council member to 2 terms that you like, that did a good job, and then you couldn't elect him to serve 2 terms as your mayor. I think that, the system we have in place works pretty well.
Mr. Padilla, what is the highest amount you would support raising the minimum wage for the employees here in Chula Vista?
I support raising the minimum wage in general, not necessarily the way in which the city of San Diego had proposed doing it. I think that if the city were to look at that citywide, we would want to work with the business community, particularly small businesses. We want to build a coalition around it. We'd want to look at phasing, but we wouldn't just want to do that. If I understand your question to be asking for a dollar amount that I would want to pay city employees. Is that the
I'm sorry,
question?
people employed in the city of Chula.
People in the city, okay. Well, again, I generally support raising the minimum wage because too many Chula Vista residents don't have any disposable income, and that hurts our economy.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
I think we have to have jobs in which to support the minimum wage. I don't think we have it. I think it's a non-issue.
Non-issue.
I
Okay,
think it's a
Ms. Aguilar?
Yeah, the question is not the minimum wage in general, but the minimum wage for employees of the city. And I think that should be a fairly high standard. I think the city has an obligation to treat its employees well.
I'm going to apologize. The wording is a little bit confusing, but basically what the intent behind this was for the city of Chula Vista. And like we did see in San Diego, what we've seen in Seattle, what we've seen in San Francisco, and I apologize for the wording for any confusion that may have caused. Ms. Salas?
Yes, well, you know, right now, the minimum wage as it is 30% less than the minimum wage that Governor Reagan supported when he was in office. And right now, we have people moving from poverty to abject poverty. So having said that, I think that there is a real need to increase the minimum wage, but it can't be done in the context of the city of Chula Vista alone. It has to be done on a regional-wide kind of standard, and I would never support anything that would put the city of Chula Vista at a disadvantage.
Mr. Rendon?
Actually, that's partly true, and I'm pleased to hear that, Ms. Salas. The California law will actually automatically increase the minimum wage to $10 an hour by 2016. And this is a 25% increase. In addition, employees will also be afforded 3 days of paid sick leave annually, and I support that. You also can't destroy the business climate either, so we need to wait and see. And if you change one city to another, it puts a city at disadvantage. So that's probably best to follow the California statewide law of raising it 25% at this point in time and wait and see.
Again, Mr. Rendon, will you actively work to support diversity in hiring in city jobs?
Absolutely. I'll continue that practice as your mayor. The workforce should be a reflection of the community you live in, as long as they have the experience and qualifications needed for that position. Absolutely, yes.
Salas?
Yes, I will, and one of the ways that you do that is institute a good program in the city of Chula Vista where you cross-train your current employees to take those positions of the future. Because we have hired diverse people, but more in most cases, they're in the beginning jobs, you know, the rank and file jobs. We can train those people to become our future leaders, and we have to do that as well as concentrating on doing outreach in all sectors of the community.
Ms. Aguilar?
Yes, especially at the management levels. You have a lot of diversity at the lower paid levels, but we need more at the higher paid levels.
Mr. Smith?
Well, Chula Vista is diverse. My last name is Smith. I'm Puerto Rican. My mother is from Puerto Rico. My father, a gringo. My wife is a Latina. Look, we have such a diverse community here. I think that it happens. It just happens when we hire. Let's just get some jobs out there.
Mr. Padilla?
Absolutely. In 1994, not so long ago, when I was first elected to city office, I was the first person in the history of this city of color ever elected to any city office. And the city was incorporated in 1911. It took until 1994. 2002 as mayor, I was the first mayor of color in the city's history. It took till 2002. Ms. Aguilar is correct. We have a lot of diversity that reflects the community, but it isn't necessarily always at the executive levels, and I think we have some work to do there.
Mr. Padilla, on a similar note, how about diversity in awarding government contracts?
Absolutely.
Smith?
Particularly using public funds.
Particularly because of using public funds. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Mr. Smith?
We're looking for quality at the best price, and that's what should be driving what we do with the city contracts.
So not necessarily.
I don't think that you award it based on diversity. You award it on who can do the best job.
When we award government contracts, we should consider that the workforce should be an accurate reflection of the diversity within the community.
Ms. Salas?
Yes, well, one of the things that we have to do is open up our qualified contractors that we work with, right? So you work with a list that has been pre-qualified, and generally that list stays there for a very, very long time. So I think what we have to do is pre-qualify those people, those businesses that can work in the city on a regular basis to make sure that we're taking advantage of all the new businesses that are being opened by our diverse population here. The Latino businesses in Chula Vista are the fastest growing business sector right now. I mean, they will continue to be, but they're the ones that are experiencing the most openings and the most growth. And so we need to make sure that we've got them in the loop and we invite them to do the contracts in our city and not limited to, a limited, the old group of
Ms. Salas,
contractors.
thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry. Mr. Rinden?
That's a no-brainer. The answer is yes.
Do you support eliminating the city's cost recovery program? That's again with Mr. Rinden.
No, eliminating the cost recovery program in Chula Vista will negatively impact the city's general fund reserves. Certain fees will be leveled on specific services used by a select few in the community rather than use the general fund dollars needed elsewhere. That's not a good step to take.
Ms. Salas?
What was the question again?
Do you support eliminating the city's cost recovery program? This is letter G on your
No.
program.
Well, actually, I never got it. I didn't have the access to my email. So,
It's on this one as well, but
oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay, no, I don't think it should be eliminated, but I think that we should look at it in its totality as part of what does it cost us to do business and what are the opportunities that you're losing for full cost recovery. And you have to balance the benefit to the community versus the possibility of not getting that job or that industry here. So those are the things that you have to balance. If it's a good company, you do want to make allowances. If it's a company that's going to come in and do minimum wage jobs, no.
Ms. Aguilar?
Yes, I agree with what Councilmember Salas said. I don't favor eliminating it, but I think we need to take a close look at it and do a cost and benefit analysis and decide whether it's worth maintaining.
Mr. Smith?
I don't think you can split it up. I think it's an oxymoron. Look, we have taxes that are meant to pay for these things. Cost recovery to me is duplicative. It's double jeopardy if it was criminal law. It's just not right.
Mr. Padilla?
We need to understand, we need to have a cost-benefit analysis. We need to know whether we're gaining or losing by disincentivizing jobs and investment. And I think we need to base the decision on that, on some facts rather than hyperbole. So.
Would you support any increase in the city's sales tax, Padilla?
Generally, no, but in extreme circumstances, I have.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Ms. Aguilar?
No.
Ms. Salas?
The decision's not ours to make. That's a decision that's strictly up to the voters.
Mr. Rinden?
No, only the voters would raise sales tax, and you would have to ask them.